see Billy. Yo, hell of a James Carville impression there, my friend. Carville to me always looks like a Muppet accidentally washed on hot. You know, there's never any rational discourse with James Carville. You just ask him a question, you might as well yank the pool starter on that ugly garlic knot of a head of his. He starts yipping away like some satanic chihuahua under a strobe light. I can't even watch the guy anymore. He's got more nervous ticks than a Baghdad parking valet. All right, I'm loose.
Okay, the first question is from Krista. Go right ahead.
My question is for Dennis, and I was wondering if you're going to move out of California once they secede from the Union.
Is Dennis moving out of California?
Well, you know, ironically, the least shaky thing in California now is the San Andreas Fault. And I am a little sick of Governor Moonbeam Brown, the self-proclaimed existentialist who apparently went off his father's nickel and onto the public dime when he was 18 years old. He hasn't spent 3 seconds outside the political bubble in the interim half-century, yet he's always telling me how I should lead my life. Hey, pal, why don't you match your own socks for a couple days in a row before you start lecturing me? That being said, yeah, I would go at some point. It's not quite at that point yet, but when it gets Dr. Zhivagoville, where I wake up and I'm sharing my pad with somebody, yeah, I might leave that.
You go back to Pittsburgh. Miller's I
thought this is near Philly, right? Yeah, Philly's more New York than it is Pittsburgh, isn't it? Yeah? Okay. Well, that's very Pittsburghian to chide me like that. You know what Pittsburgh was? It's the one town on the planet Earth where you will hear this more quickly than any other city on the planet Earth. What are you looking at? Like if you have an iris flare for a millisecond with one of the local denizens, what are you looking at? Nothing, I have my eyes closed.
All right, what do we got?
John, what's your question? For Mr. O'Reilly.
That me or my dad?
You.
Okay.
Your name popped up at our table in Austria at New Year's, and there was a number of women at the table, and they all said that they thought you dressed, the word of the day, spiffy.
Yes.
And we want to know, would you ever consider writing a fashion book, possibly naming it The Killing of Tommy Ford or Ralph Lauren?
Yeah, I grew up in a home in Levittown, New York, not Levittown, Pennsylvania, where I had 2 pair of pants, all right? My father actually bought his pants through the mail, okay? And he's a Depression kid. If he could save a buck, he was gonna save a buck. And so there were like these pants for $12.95, polyester. And he would buy them, and they'd be 6 inches too short. And I go, Dad, you know, you look like one of the village people. What's going on? And he didn't care. So we wasn't a big fashion plate. But what the turning point was when I started to get my clothes free. See, this is all free. The Fox gives me free clothes. And I figured, if they're gonna give me free clothes, I'll get the most expensive clothes I can, right? And so it's not really me, it's the Fox thing.
Well, I buy my slacks through the mail, and they're always 6 inches too tight.
Miller's going to be doing those Cialis commercials very soon. Very soon.
Okay, Janet, what's your question?
Well, I was going to ask a question about Marco, but since he's yesterday's news, I want to ask Dennis, since you're from Pittsburgh,
Yes.
are you going to root for the Steelers or one of those cupcake California teams?
No, Pittsburgh's in my hard drive. You know, you can't lose your affinity for the Steelers, but I do know this since I haven't lived there in so long, when they eventually, unless they win the Super Bowl, then I'm happy the whole time, but if they, I know we've got the most, but if they do lose, I am able to pick up another team after that. You know, well, I mean, I can't live like I haven't lived there in 30 years. So when they're in, I'm happy. I want them to win. The moment they lose, I like Tom Brady.
Now you guys should know. Pittsburgh versus Kansas City has been put back to Sunday night. All right, if you didn't know that.
That's
So the
the ice
1
storm.
o'clock game tomorrow, because of the ice storm and all that, is going to be a Sunday night game. And I'm predicting Pittsburgh's going to win.
Yeah, well, Roethlisberger, and Brown,
And tough.
and Le'Veon Bell, man, that's like,
Yeah,
they're loaded for bear. If KC
Okay.
can stop them, God bless. What's that, babe?
What is happening? We don't
Okay.
have that guy. Come on.
John, what's your question?
James.
All Waters has to do is get the name right. That's all he has to do. And he knows it. He couldn't even separate the apostles. It's John and James. James.
No. What are we going to do about liberalism and liberal indoctrination in higher education?
What we're going to do, James, is you're going to move to San Francisco and terrorize every single lib out there and tell them they got to knock it off. There's nothing you can do, all right? It's an individual thing. When your children go to school, you have to prepare them for, hey, look, many of the teachers do not live and think the way we do. This is what our value system is. If you are feeling uncomfortable in the class, and this goes for college kids too, you come and you tell dad. And if dad is like me, some action will be taken.
You know something, liberalism's like a nude beach. It sounds good until you get there. A lot of tangles. Listen, we don't have to worry about any of that stuff anymore. You know what, I had given up, Billy will tell
That's
you
a great
this.
title for a book, though.
What?
Liberalism's like a nude beach. By Dennis Miller. Oh my God.
No, I'm working on a better one. It's called Killing Everybody Who Hasn't Been Killed Yet.
What's
We
up?
don't have to worry about that stuff anymore. You know, I had given up on the American people in a way. I thought, oh, she's going to win. I can't believe it. She's such a moron. She's going to win. And Billy kept saying, I'm not sure. There might be people. And my wife, ironically, is not very, you know, is political. I have to pay attention to her for my job. She kind of reads in cursory sense. And she said, I'm reading the comments on all these sites, and people start, she said, most of the comments start with, you just watch on November 8th. And I rekindled my love affair with John Doe. The people showed up, saw this stuff about it. God bless. I mean, really, it took my breath away. So all this stuff about them controlling media, them controlling show business, them controlling, they don't control common sense.
You know, that's a question. Your name's Bill, right? And this is my world.
Right. Dennis and Bill, you know how sometimes people sponsor a paver? I was thinking for this wall, and maybe you can take this suggestion or idea and maybe even expand on it. But I was thinking, let's sponsor a brick or a block for the wall. And then let's pick some names like Pelosi, Rosie, and put it on the wall. This great wall.
This section by Rosie O'Donnell. But Miller's got a better idea for the wall.
Well, listen, and by the way, Pelosi would be the hole in the wall. No. That's where they get through. Empty. I don't think we need a wall. I got a better idea. I was reading an article that said we're no longer, America for many years was the most obese country on the planet Earth, but we were passed last year by Mexico. I don't know what that says about America, except maybe, God forbid, we're too lazy to be fat now. But, but I had an idea. Instead of a wall, we put in a gently curving buffet line. It starts in Mexico, you get your appetizer, then you come into the States, pick up your entree, and then you just sort of imperceptibly weave it back Mexico way for the flan station. And everybody's full, they're kind of sleeping, they're not paying attention, they're back home, and everybody's happy. No idea. Hey, the common sense stuff works. I mean, you know why I think we should solve the Palestinian crisis is give them the casinos. Because, you know, it's here in America, it seems to have chilled the Indians out. And, you know, they're already pre-named, the sands, the dunes, the desert inn. Just thinking for the people.
Joe, go ahead.
Hi, I have a question for either Bill or Dennis.
Bill, you take it.
Got it. It's been reported that Hillary and Bill Clinton are going to personally attend the inauguration. I want to know your best guess as to how long into Trump's speech will it take for Hillary to flip a bird?
Never. Yeah, no, look, the decorum is that previous presidents attend. And I don't think Jimmy Carter's going to do it because he's in his 90s now. But you're going to see the Bushes there, the Clintons will be there. Everybody will behave because this is, and this is really important. And I'm going to give you a heads up on what we're going to do on Martin Luther King on Monday night on The Factor. This isn't about Donald Trump, this inauguration, all right? It's about the country, and it's about the tradition of a peaceful transition of power. And these pinheads, you go, oh, I'm not showing up. You know, you're a pinhead, you're an idiot, all right? This is an honor. Now, on Thursday, we had a segment on The Factor with the Talladega College band. Talladega College is one of the first black colleges. It was founded by freed slaves. It was a great place. And they have a terrific marching band called the Tornadoes. And they're going to go to the inauguration, all right? So, the president of the college, a guy named Billy Hawkins, Dr. Billy Hawkins, he's gotten threats. Some people want to get him fired from his job. He's called a racist and all of this stuff. So he came on and explained all the problems. And then he said, but you know what? The 285 people associated with the band, the students, 90% of them have never been to Washington, all right? They're so excited about the honor of performing in front of the nation. How could I say no to these kids, all right? And I'm forgetting because it's a wrong thing to do. So they needed $75,000 to go cover expenses for the band. Within 7 minutes of that segment ending, they had raised $375,000. I don't think Meryl Streep kicked in. So I'm going to lay it out there on Monday and say, you know what? And a lot of those people who donated are Trump people, Trump supporters, all right? And so this stuff has got to stop, and it's got to stop now. This is about the country, and you should respect your country.
You know what? There's some people who see a trace of racism in absolutely everything. They're tracists. And it's just going to continue. It's falling on deaf ears now. And what else? Oh, yeah, I had another point. The reason Bill and Hillary are going to the inauguration, I guarantee you, Bill's going to hit on the money. All right. If they installed a Slim Jim rack and a Slurpee machine at the base of the
It's 1 week before the inauguration. There's a large number of people who are still having difficulty accepting it and trying to stop it.
I love that.
If you can send out one tweet to them, what would you say? And please keep it pithy.
Well, I want them to stay pissed off. I love it.
Miller wants them to be desperately unhappy and commit suicide.
For 8 years, for For 7 years, the first year I'll give any president a year. I wanted to do well. I didn't dig what he was doing. I didn't dig what he said about the Boston comps. He started to lose me there. But for 7 years I zipped my lip. I made jokes about him like I make jokes about any president, but by and large I wished them well. And they really overplayed their hand. There's a reason Trump's president, and that's because they overplayed their hand. Obama is a direct precursor to Donald Trump because he screwed it up, and they were nasty about it when they screwed it up. So this whole thing about coming together, I don't want to.
Miller actually provides them with safe spaces in his mansion in Santa Barbara. Big sign, safe spaces. What else we got?
Okay, next question.
My name is Rich, by the way.
You're smart, Rich. You're smart handling that yourself.
I have a question for Bill.
What nationality is, by the way?
Never mind.
Doesn't Putin look like the Oscar statue?
Anyway, what do you think is going to happen in a couple of years if the Democrats keep being obstructionists and try to stop Trump from doing everything he wants to do? What do you think is going to happen in a couple of years when they run for re-election? Do you think the people will rise up?
Nuclear winter in the Senate. Nuclear winter in the Senate. If they don't at least make some effort here, and because he's going to use common sense stuff. And listen, I don't think Trump's conservative on some of this stuff. I think you're going to see him being socially liberal on certain things. If they are just adamant against anything he does, 2 years hence, I think there's, what, 20, isn't there a big boatload of seats in the Senate due up in a couple of years for the Democrats, Billy?
But it doesn't matter, okay? It doesn't matter.
Wait a second, I was working on a dream.
I wasn't really listening to Miller. All that matters is if the economy improves. If the economy improves, they can run around and set themselves on fire, and people will toast marshmallows over them. It doesn't matter. It's all about global warming. It's all about.
That's why.
How many more we have there?
That's what you got to use your head when they go to burn a flag. Don't say it's unpatriotic. Say that causes global warming. You just got to know how to play these people. When I go to a party now, people come up to me and they go, we're Russian. Go ahead. No, I don't mean Russian as in tapping things. I mean.
Okay, Roger has a question. This is for Bill, but then if you want to answer, you can too. Do you think that Obama is going to be running a shadow government out of his newly walled-in compound down the street from the White House?
Obama's going to be running around making speeches for about $300,000 a pop. So the only shadow he's going to see is his wallet opening and putting money in. All right? There's no. Barack Obama is going to be the ultimate capitalist. All right? You're going to see him amass a fortune in the next 3 or 4 years. But I don't even think he's going to be that annoying as far as undermining Trump. I don't see it. He's not that kind of a confrontational guy. Could be wrong, but he is going to amass a fortune, and Michelle's going to be in there like with a little cash machine going ching, ching. That's what's going to
I don't
happen.
care how rich he gets. We should, just for karma's purposes, everybody else get off Obamacare. And since it's named after him, he's the only one who has to have it from here on out. What's your health care? I'm literally Obamacare. By the way, did you ever open a bottle of water and you go to sip it and there's like an entire Jeroboam of water in the little plastic thing and it spills down here? Life got crossroads too about life.
Carol has a question, the last one of the night.
This is for Dennis. We used to enjoy you tremendously on SNL. And
Yeah.
as an alum, we never see you on
You know, I don't like
specials.
going back to things.
On the specials or
They invite me
hosting.
back, but I always feel like the guy who graduated, like from college, and he shows up next year at a frat party, standing there in the cake, trying to get away. I'm sorry, what were you shaking?
Shake things up.
I'm just not interested in going back. I mean, I love the I saw Lauren over the summer, and but when I see everybody standing there in a tux and they're treating Chevy like, it's just embarrassing, man. I was lucky, I had a good gig, I had a blast when I was there. I'm still friends with everybody. I spent New Year's Eve with Bill later. But when they say, come on back, we're all going to get dressed up and talk about how good we were, it feels weird to me.
You want to know something interesting about this topic? I went back. I went to the 40th anniversary party.
You're at the opening of a closed on.
So I'm walking around, and everybody's going, where's Miller? I'm going, he's in prison, you didn't hear? Every one of them, nobody said, really?
But I'm good friends with everybody, it's just not my thing.
But you know, you don't see Miller on a lot of the shows.
I don't go on anything.
Well, you used to go on Leno once in a while.
I used to, I'm telling you, I haven't been on anything in years.
I go on a lot more shows than you do.
I don't like show business. I like this, I get on with listen, I grew up normal, you know Pittsburgh, you know how I grew up. I remember when I left home that day to go to LA, honestly, my mom, God rest her soul, a saint to me, as I was leaving, my mother on the way out the door, it was such a Pittsburgh thing, she said, hey, don't become an asshole. Celebrate. I like telling jokes. I like being with my boys. I like the fact 7,000 people would come out and see us. I got to make a living. I'm not acting all like it's all Pollyanna. But as far as all this stuff about showing up on red, it's just not my.
But I have to do it though.
Yeah, they got a gun to your head. All right. Billy, speaking of gun to your head, how in God's name do you bring yourself? By the way, what is the Japanese book sold?
About $1.5 million.
Which book's that?
Rising Sun.
No, I didn't mean that, Jim. I meant when you did the thing about how to be a male geisha. No, the thing I'm saying, how do you bring yourself to go on and hawk that book on that Hemfest of you? What is that about?
Well, part of the thing about being an author is that you have to market the book. And I won't go on The View ever again, because that show is... It's a propaganda fest, and I'm not really interested in what any of those people have to say. So, about 6 years ago, 6 or 7 years ago, I had a book called Bold, Fresh Piece of Humanity, which is a bio book, and it's like a 20 million in one shot. I'm even standing here. Miller and I are long odds guys. I mean, we come from working class families. We don't kiss anybody. We don't play the corporate game. And for us to be on the same stage, one of the reasons that I hired Miller to do these shows is because of hard work and perseverance and a vision. So anyway, I went on The View because I got a call from Barbara Walters. Oh yeah, we want to come on and talk about both and I said, all right, okay. So
that's better than your car bill.
And I have, it does not. So anyway, I've known Barbara since the Civil War. I've known her a long. So I show up at The View, and I walk up the stairs. It's on the west side of Manhattan, overlooking the Hudson River. It's a live show at 11 Eastern Time. And I go around the corner, and I run smack into Whoopi Goldberg. Now, again, I've known Whoopi a long, long time. In fact, not many people know this, but I was offered the lead in the movie Ghost, okay? Couldn't do it, turned it down, give it to Swayze, and then there was Whoopi disappearing, making pottery. It was very confusing. I'm glad I didn't get involved. But anyway, I run into Whoopi, and Whoopi gives me this Whoopi stare, like this. Hey, Whoopi, how you doing? Just stares at me. Oh, this is not good. So I go around Whoopi, and I walk down, and on the left is the makeup room, and I look in, and there on a slab is Joy Behar. Some things you still want to see, you know? Keep going, I go in the green room, there's a little water, a banana, and then the show starts, and then Hot Topics, and they're talking about Kim Kardashian's socks or something. It's scintillating. In my mind, that's one thing, I just want to get the hell out of here, all right? I'll do my little thing for the book, I'll go to Fox, do the factory, go home. That's all I want to do. So then I'm introduced, and I come out. Okay, so at that time in history, Elizabeth Hasselbeck was on the program. Very nice woman. I wanted to sit next to her. I go, let me sit next to her for once. Oh, I got to sit next to Behar with Walters on my left, and then Goldberg flanking Behar. All right, so right away they start yammering about Bush. I mean, this is like, Bush has been out of office for 3 hours. Bush. I'm not even listening to my watch. And finally he gets around to the crux of the matter that day, which I knew nothing about. So Behar goes, and what do you have against Muslims? That week on the factory, we had done a series of reports on an imam who wanted to build a mosque on the site of the 9/11 attack. All right? I said, very politely, not gonna happen! All right? And I said, on the year, he's got a construction company in a tri-state area, he's gonna lift a hammer and build that mosque, and that's exactly how it played out. Nobody would do it, right? 3 blocks away, you want your mosque 3 blocks away? I'll help you. All right, it's 100 mosques in New York City, but not on that site. It's inappropriate. Would you build a Benihana at Pearl Harbor? Anyone? Anyone want a Benihana at Pearl Harbor? No. It's just some things that aren't done. So anyway, there's Behar.
You're Muslims and you love your fair Muslims. And what do you have against Muslims anyway?
They killed us on 9/11. Ow! They both scream at the same time. Goldberg and Behar. And then they jump up from the couch. Not an easy thing for those ladies to do. Then they run off the stage. And Barbara goes, where are you going? Where are you going? God's honest truth, in my mind, this is great. I'll get the other 2 off, I'll take the whole hour.